Hi everyone, my name is Alberta and welcome to episode 21 of the Get Hitched live wedding chat show. Today our guests are Ben and Jonathan. They are from the Alchemists, a trio band based in Malta where they do for events, weddings and anything of the sort. I do hope, as usual, everyone enjoys the show. In the meantime, I'm just going to be inviting Ben and John in. As always, if anyone has any questions, comments, feedbacks, or anything, please do put them into the comment boxes and we'll be able to have John and Ben answer your questions. Hi, guys.
Hi, okay.
All good, thanks. Hi. All right, guys, how are you?
Not bad, thank you.
Yeah, I'm doing fine as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Super. So first of all, thank you very much for being on the show today. First off, perhaps you each want to introduce yourselves for everyone watching the show today.
All right.
We can start with John.
Oh, with John. All right, okay. Start, John.
So I'm Jonathan. I'm a teacher, and my passion is the music and art and drama. I've been practicing the art of music for about 18 years. And have joined the Alchemists as my current band, and have been with the Alchemists for the past 3 years now.
Nice one, cool. And you, Ben?
Yeah, I'm also a teacher. I've been playing the guitar since I was 10 years old, so that's about 20 years now. And I think I went into singing at about the age of 16, firstly mostly supporting other singers, like as a backing vocalist, and then eventually when it came to forming the Alchemists with John and Becca, I practically became the lead singer of the band, so more or less. And
amazing.
Yeah, of course, music is a big passion, and I'm very much also into sports. In fact, I'm a PE teacher, so.
Okay, all right, okay, cool. And I don't know if maybe, because just for all the viewers to know, there is a third person, but unfortunately she couldn't take part in the show because, of course, of work and everything. But maybe you want to give a brief introduction about Rebecca as well for everyone.
Yes, so Rebecca, anyways, we call her Becca, and I think she prefers being called Becca. She's our drummer, percussionist, and also female singer in the band. I think she's been playing the drums for the past 20 years or something like that, when she was from a very young age.
Music is within her family, though, because even her father is a very well-known drummer in Malta.
Exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, and she also obviously joined us at the end of 2017, beginning of 2018. Anyways, we were quite lucky how things panned out, but we're very happy to have her with us. And yeah,
amazing. Well, if you're watching the show, please come in and say hello. Even if you want to share any funny stories or anything about Ben and John. I invite you to do so.
Becca.
Please do. Issa. So I do want to go straight into the agenda that we have for today. It's quite an interesting one where we're going to be focusing on different points about you guys personally and as a band. First off, I know you've introduced now yourselves personally, but I'd like to know in more detail, even for our viewers, how you actually started in the industry and how you came about to forming the Alchemists.
Okay, well, I think from my end, I started in the music industry way back when I was, I think, about 7. My parents always pushed me to start something, and I always showed a passion towards music because I used to make these small guitars with a shoebox and a kitchen roll. And they immediately thought that, listen, this might be his path.
Okay.
So I started studying music theory with the local band in Zabuch. I used to study to play the trumpet and the clarinet, which are bass clef and treble clef, so both ends of the spectrum. But I couldn't, when they gave me the instrument, I just couldn't do it. So, so then when I started secondary school at St. Paul's Missionary College, Father Karm, who is also the spiritual director there, introduced me to my first guitar and my first guitar lesson officially. And then from there, I fell in love with the guitar and started playing regularly until I came to this point now.
Cool. And what is the history between all three of you? Like, how did you meet up and come to becoming the Alchemists?
So Johnny and myself, we met in 2011 because we were at the same course at university. So we're both teachers and we happened to meet over there. And I think in the first year, we were doing different courses, so we didn't have a lot of similar credits. But then I think in the second year, we were split up in different groups for a particular credit. And I happened to be in the same group of his girlfriend, and we were talking, and I mentioned that I'm a musician, and she told me that her boyfriend Jonathan is also a musician, and I'm like, I was in another band, and I'm like, I really need another guitarist and a bassist, and one thing led to another, and we had an event, I remember, and obviously I needed someone to accompany us back in the other band. So I told him, a couple of rehearsals, and he joined the other band. Eventually, in 2017, this band, we stopped playing for different reasons, and people wanted to go on different paths. And but me and Johnny, we decided to stick together. And it was during that time that there was a charity event at the Salesians Theatre for the pediatrics doctors doing something for. And one of the doctors is a saxophonist as well, who is like a session musician with us. And he told us, "Do you want to come and play a bit and help out in the cause?" And we're like, "Yeah, for sure. Let's make it a bit, instead of going as a duo, we need like a drummer." And we knew Becca was with another band and she wanted a change as well. And we said, like, "Listen, do you want to try it out, see how it goes?" And she accepted. We did the show, did like a small concert of about half an hour. The response was really good. And I think we left it there for a while because I was abroad for some months. And then when we came back, we had another event, and we went to play without even doing a rehearsal, and it was just like boom.
You guys had great vibes between you.
We have to take it forward,
We had great chemistry, and it is going to
great chemistry
with how we chose the name.
Yes, exactly. Before that, I do want to quickly say hi to Becca because she is watching the show. So hi. Feel free to drop any comments, and continue with us while we are live. And as well, perhaps we want to give a shout out and a thank you to Jonathan's girlfriend as well, because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here today.
Exactly.
It's true.
Yes, exactly. It's true.
Cool. Issa, going into the next question. So the name, the Alchemists. How did you guys come about to coming up with the name? It's quite a unique name.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, and as Ben was saying, since we had a lot of chemistry during our first two gigs, we were quite we didn't know what the name was going to be. First, we decided on Bearded Dragons. One, because of the beard, and two, because bearded dragons are very fun creatures and they wave at you. They're lizards.
Okay, but there's 2 out of 3 with the beard, I hope.
Exactly.
Okay.
Depends. Becca. No. Anyways, and then we were
I know.
But then we were abroad in Sicily, Ben and I and both of our girlfriends, and we were in the car. Ben was driving, and we were just shooting names all across.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, but again, my girlfriend Erika just mentioned, "Hey, what about the Alchemists? Because it's about chemistry and the mixture of chemicals." And that's how the name started. And
amazing.
And it was exactly combinazione. It was exactly 3 years ago today, because combinazione today, Facebook brings out these memories, and it's funny that we're actually doing the show today, 3 years on.
Amazing. And it's Erica, correct?
Yes, Erica. Yes,
Good.
yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Well done, Erica. Are you considering in her becoming your manager? I mean, she's hit quite a few good numbers for you.
The question you have to ask is, does she want?
Taiba. Well done. I do think they're great stories how you guys started out. I mean, you, Ben and John, you've been playing now together close to 9 years from what I'm understanding.
Yeah,
If you started
8,
in
9 years,
2011.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty great. There's a lot of chemistry vibes that you guys have built, and a lot of experience as well that you guys have built working together. We do have another comment here from Jonathan at Sopardi, who said Beard Game strong. John, not sure how it would work on Becca, though, to the first comment on the name that you guys were going to choose.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. Just for you to know as well, John is actually one of the co-founders of Hitched and Evently, because coincidentally, the co-founders are John and Ben, same as the co-founders, I guess, for the Alchemists.
Yeah.
Great names.
Exactly.
So guys, I do want to go into a bit more information for the viewers, especially people that are planning their weddings and events, so they can get more information for who you guys are, what you're doing, and everything. For everyone to know as well, this live show will also be linked to your profile on Gettish, so people at some point when they're coming to look at your services and see and get in contact with you guys, they'll be able to see the questions that we're answering here on today's show. I am going to mention again for everyone, if anyone has any questions while watching the show, please put them in, so we'll be able to have Ben and John answer the questions. And the first one that I have for you guys, this was with regards to the genre and style of music that you guys play as a band, because I know you're more focused on rock, like a folk rock.
Yeah, folk rock. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, I got that right. But is it just the single genre? Do you open up? Perhaps you want to mention the main genres and music styles, and then open up in even different genres that you've had to open during different events.
Fidi?
Yeah.
Well, I think it would be foolish of us to just focus on one style of music, based on the fact that up to this point we've been doing covers. So we try and see which style of music we're focusing on with a particular song, and then obviously try and bring our the elements that we want to that song. So if we, for example, grab a pop song, I mean, the song is a pop song, but we try and put in elements of folk and rock. And when we say folk, I mean, maybe a lot of people associate folk with the maybe traditional Maltese folk music. When we say folk, we're not focusing on that kind of folk, but we're more into what maybe bands like Mumford and Sons do.
Okay.
So that's when we mean folk. That's the genre and style that we want to go into. Of course, we have events where, for example, weddings, where couples request a section of rock and roll music, and what we do is we do maybe those particular songs that people would be expecting, and we do the rock and roll set, but we try and put in a little bit of more folk into them. So we give them a kind of a twist. I mean, we still keep the structure of the song and people will still dance, but we have a slightly different take on it. And
change it up a little bit.
Yeah,
The experience is always different, especially when they're set in always the same songs that you have in different weddings. Like this, there will be a bit of a change in the experience and that memory as well with each different song that you guys are doing.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, even I think from personal experiences when we were at different weddings of different bands, I mean, most of them are our friends as well. It's like there's maybe a set of 100 songs that, most of them, I mean, nobody plays 100 songs in one single wedding, but these 100 songs are like kind of associated with most weddings. And what we wanted to do is, we wanted to reduce that amount, and like we wanted to start doing songs which people might not expect in a wedding. For example, if I have to give an example, if we're covering a song by a band, the Lumineers, and they have a famous song called Ho Hey, which I think everyone knows. We do that as well, but we choose a couple of other songs from their album which are not so popular, and we do those instead. We try and mix it up like that, and the response that we normally get is like, we didn't expect you to be playing those songs. At least it was something different from what we're normally used to, and so.
Very good, very good. I actually do have some comments here for you guys. 2 questions. So first we have Luke Scorfna, a great Maltese band. Thanks, Luke. I'm going to say Luke. Thank you, Luke, for the comment. So a great Maltese band. Keep up the great work, guys. Where do you see yourselves in 10 years' time?
I would say less hair for me, but for him, I don't think that would be you. Maybe in 10 years' time. Well, I hope at least if we're not together as a band anymore, I hope that we stay friends. But I think as things stand at the moment, and that things are going for now, I think that in 10 years' time, I see myself as a band growing even more, and maybe in the future recording a couple of original songs, and maybe an album or 2 in the pipeline.
Tayyip.
I have to agree, yes.
Cool. Thank you, Luke, for that. And we also have an Andre here, Andre Gauci. Thank you for your question. Where can we come and see you play? I don't know if you have any upcoming gigs at the moment. Perhaps they can come in and join and have a look at your...
Yes, so at the moment, till the end of September, without doing any adverts, for whichever reason, every Thursday we're playing in Valletta.
It's fine if you want to mention names and locations. Don't worry.
All right. Okay. So we're on every Thursday. We're at the moment playing at Luciano Restaurant in Valletta. So we want to give a big shout out as well to Joseph, the owner of the place, who, even during these difficult times, he's stuck by the fact of having live music, not just ourselves, but 4 times a week. So that's great, and thank you to him.
Amazing. The Luciano
Restaurant in Valletta, yes.
Super.
We're also playing every 3 weeks at Beach Haven in Shamshia.
Okay.
So if they go on our profile, they can see the schedules. And every Tuesday, although I think tonight it might be cancelled because of the weather, and it's an outside venue, so it depends. And every Tuesday, our fellow friends, also musicians, Kurt and Kevin Kalea, they have a restaurant in Valletta Waterfront and Bentley's, and they're also hosting live music. But for this, I normally go as a solo, so that's every Tuesday. But anyway, so it's going quite well. Yeah.
Amazing. Andre, there you go. Just for everyone watching the show, I would definitely recommend to everyone to go down to Valletta, especially on Thursday, for example, to come check you guys out and even support the local restaurants and bars and pubs that there are there at the moment. Because I mean, Valletta is not exactly a summer location. It's been a year, to put it to the least, so it would be great to get people there. So I do, yes, congratulate Joseph. Joseph, you mentioned the
Yeah,
name.
from the channel,
Yeah.
and Simon
Um,
from Beach Haven as well,
Amazing
and yeah.
to be getting, people in and managing to continue giving positive vibes to everyone and keep everything going, smooth sailing, even for you guys as artists, because I'm sure it hasn't been easy as a band in the last few months to keep your feet on the ground, and keep positive, especially when you're moving dates around. There's no gigs happening. We did a few months, but everywhere closed, so you're like not really like you can meet up and play, but you don't have that passion and that crowd in front of you giving you that satisfaction.
Exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, we don't want to, kind of dwell too much about the COVID and whatever, but yeah, obviously, just like all the other artists involved in Malta and all around the world, it wasn't the easiest of times. Especially, I think the first 2 to 3 months, because we took a decision also not to meet up for
Okay.
for obvious safety reasons. But eventually things started moving a little bit, and I think with the rights and necessary precautions that even us were taking, like even when people come to talk to us after gigs, for example, we do try to keep a certain 2 meter distance just to and wear masks.
Very good.
I mean, it's everyone's trying to do their best, so
Exactly. Very good. I do want to get on with the next set of questions because we have quite a few questions I want to get through. So I will get back to the comments later on because they are still coming in. Now I want my next question to be with regards to trio bands. I know there's a certain set of benefits that come with being a trio band. Sometimes people are focused on finding, larger bands, 5, 6 piece, but there's a certain beauty in being a trio band. Can you tell us the main benefits with booking you guys?
Sure. So even to answer Dylan Darmanin's question, I think what sets us apart from other bands, and especially as a trio band, since we are three, our fees are a little bit competitive, and since we are three, obviously the price goes down because you have to pay 3 members. Having said that, as a trio band, we also, the three of us sing, so we can contribute vocally and offer our singing capabilities and do some sweet harmonies together. Apart from that, even though we are a trio band and most people think that the sound of a full band will not be we are and also with our style of playing, we give a good interpretation to the songs and also give a full sound, which is in my opinion a good sound. Even from the comments that we had, people said, "Wow, your sound is really big. Like it can fill up a wedding place. People still dance." And move along to our song. So yeah.
And
I'd have to agree with that. Go on.
No, and the only thing I was going to add is, having said that, is we do play in weddings sometimes as a 5 piece or as a 6 piece band as well, because of course there are couples and or even if it's just not a wedding, even if it's an event, that they might want the 5 piece or the 6 piece band, and of course we have 2-3 musicians who work with us as session musicians, and for example, case in point, on Saturday we do have a wedding where we're not going to be as a trio, but we're going to be as a 4-piece. So there you so but yeah, as Johnny put it, I think a lot of people underestimate the fact that we're a trio band by as an original lineup. So, and I think we're trying to break that with the fact that because we all play an instrument and we all sing, We're kind of, you're getting a trio band, but you're technically getting a six sounds. So
Yeah.
it's
Definitely. No, I'd have to agree, especially even with the sound, just watching the videos that you guys have on the Facebook page of the Alchemists, you can see that there's a very good quality in the sound, just from considering, these are videos taken with phone and still the sound quality comes out really well. That already gives a big difference. Like you guys are saying, there are many talents that you guys can offer, and being a trio band, yes, can offer the benefit of having perhaps a cheaper price or a more. It depends on the budget again of every person that they have for their wedding or their event. There are people that have a 20,000 budget. There are people that have a 70,000 budget. It's still a wedding. It's still going to be beautiful. And if you have a 2-piece, 3-piece, 10-piece, it's still going to be a memorable experience, especially when you're booking the Alchemists as a band. Now, going into the talents that you guys have, like you have vocalists, you're all vocalists. Rebecca is a drummer. I don't know if you want to focus and mention for the viewers each of your different talents.
Yeah, so I think let's start with Becca because she's not here. So I think
She's listening.
she's listening. I think one of the biggest benefits that I think that we have and that Becca got herself as well by joining us was that she kind of found a room to kind of sing in the Alchemists, and at first she was just doing backing vocals and harmonies, but eventually we actually found out that she has actually a really, really good voice. So we do actually have some songs where she actually comes in as a main lead vocal, and she does some parts, and I think that's something really nice. So she plays the drums, but in most of the times when we're lining up as a trio, as an acoustic trio, we practically develop kind of this set, which consists of a cajon and a snare, which is normally associated with the drums, the one that makes the really loud noise, but it's like an acoustic snare. It was very, very small. And then we have a cymbal, some shakers, hi-hat. So although it's a percussion, it's actually like 5-6 sounds coming from different pieces of that make up drums or percussions. And so that's one of the reasons why as a trio band we still have a very loud sound. So that's one of the reasons. And then myself, I generally take up most of the lead singing duties. And then of course I'm more focused on the acoustic guitar side and more on the rhythm side. So practically my job in the band is trying to keep like the bass sound going, as in the bass, not the bass of the big bass guitar, but the basic sound in a song going constantly. So then Johnny and Becca can focus more on the dynamics, and then obviously Johnny, you can continue your part basically.
No, I basically fill in. That's what I do.
You're tying all the pieces together.
Yes, exactly. Where there are, for example, some songs which require some sort of melody from the guitar part, I take a leading role. Obviously, if there are any other musicians with us, I take a step back and, for example, sometimes Ben's cousin, who is a musician who is based in London, comes down in Malta for some of our weddings as well, when requested. And I'm sure of it. He's a much better lead guitarist than I am. So off to him. But obviously I focus more on rhythm and filling to make a bigger sound.
Cool. Okay. I really love the positive vibe you guys have around you, like even together, communicating, talking about each other. And even the fact that you guys got Rebecca to find and explore something new that is not sometimes very easy. And sometimes people might push it off. If you have the lead singer, then no, that is your focus. But no, instead you guys bring everything together and actually push each other to go to the next level, which is absolutely fantastic. I do actually have here for you guys Lucian Healy. Hi, Lucian, who says the best. We had them at our wedding and they are really great. We highly recommend them. So hi, Lucian, and thank you very much for that great feedback you just put in
Thank you
for
for the
us.
comment.
We also have Fabian Darmanin here who asked where he can see you play, and we're going to mention again, the guys are playing every Thursday at the Luciano Valletta. It's a restaurant, so go check them out there this Thursday and see if you want to book your wedding or event or whatever, they're there. And we have now Sarah. I'm not sure if I can pronounce the surname.
Papagiorgopoulos.
Okay, so hi, Sarah. I'm going to read the comment out for everyone because it's a bit long, so it won't show on the screen. Hi, well done for all the great work. Love your music. Do you have any advice for people who are interested in forming bands and starting off in the industry? I think this is a great question. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is start. Like, as in, don't be afraid to start. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. We've all made mistakes. I mean, especially in the beginning when you're very tense in the first gigs. You all make we all hit wrong notes, wrong chords. We all start a song off key sometimes. I mean, it happened to probably every singer in the world. It happened to me, and I mean, it's part of the learning process. And I think the most important thing is to appreciate what each other brings to the table. I mean, because for example, me and Johnny or me and Becca, or we do have arguments and discussions about how to do a certain song. Sometimes even like during when we finish a song, Johnny tells me this was like this, or I tell him last time you did it better. Or I mean, it's an ongoing learning process, and this has been going on from the beginning when we started, and almost every gig. It's part of a learning process, and I hope that it will continue because it pushes each other. It pushes us to be better, and so the most important thing is to start. And
I think from my end, if I had to give a small advice to Sarah and whoever else is trying to start and form a band, I would say that connections are really, really important. So, for example, if you try and maybe support other people, and go to their venues where they're playing, it's an automatic response because you get connected, and you can ask them. You can ask us, for example, do you know of any other people who are trying to start a band, or do you know other people who need a session musician? And I think that community, the way when you build that sort of community, it helps you start a lot. I mean, that is how I started with all of my bands. So then, as Ben said, it's important to find the right people and the right people for your style and for your style of music and and even your character. I mean, characters have to match. They are what brings a band together, and I think that they are important as well.
I think the guys have answered your question perfectly, Sarah. Both points with networking is crucial in anything that you're going to do, be it if it's starting a new job, starting a new band, starting a new project. And same with just going ahead and starting. Same like when, for example, if I take point with all the things that I've started as a person working with Hitched just in the last year, from the live shows to writing articles. We did a virtual weddings fair. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing the first time I went to do a live show. Don't imagine. But the experience, builds it up. You get better every time. Mistakes are going to happen, and the mistakes need to happen so that the next time around, you know what you're doing. So just go for it, start and network. Go to as many events and meet as many people as you can in Malta, because everyone knows everyone, and that's how you're going to grow yourself. it's the biggest thing in Malta. It's sometimes it's who you know, but it's true. Malta is so small. The more people you know, it's even better and greater.
And I think I have to say as well that at least from our personal experience, we have a very good rapport, if it's the right word to use, with
yeah.
with a lot of other bands and a lot of other musicians, and I think you need that. I mean, yes, okay. I mean, at the end of the day, we are kind of not fighting, but like trying to get events and gigs here and there and weddings. But when it comes to, you know, helping each other out, I mean, there were numerous times when, for example, somebody called us up because the lead singer was sick, or I needed a replacement, because things happen, and we're all trying to, you know, help each other out and making sure that, you know, the image of the band stays to a certain standard. And I mean, I can mention a list of names from a list of bands, but, you know, it's so, I mean, a big shout out to a lot of people who've helped us, and I'm sure we helped as well other bands in filling slots in here and there. So
cool. You know, yes, I mean, helping everyone out is always the best way, especially when something happens last minute, and it's always good. If you're doing a particular event and then something happens, you need to fill in. It's great to have that pool of network to be able to still provide what you actually promised to the particular person, be it if they're a friend or client or so on. Guys, thank you everyone for all the comments and everyone that is watching the show. We are already close to 40 minutes, so I am going to go into the next question for you guys.
40 minutes?
Yeah, we're at 32 minutes right now. So something I wanted to ask you guys, it was with regards to your songs. Like, how do you choose your songs? One, as a band, and two, for the weddings and events. Do people ask you, or do you come up with the lists? And how do you come up with the songs? The selection, the choice.
It's, I think there's never a one size fits all. So I mean, it depends. I mean, we generally try to offer a set list, which changes practically every couple of months because of new songs that we and rehearse, etc. We always offer the couples like the possibility to give us, hey, you know, give us a list of 10, 12 songs that you really like, and we never promise that we're going to cover all 12, but most of the time, you know, there's always 8 or 9 of them that we do for the particular wedding. And so, yeah, I mean, it's always nice to try and please the couples, and I mean, and they normally appreciate it a lot. So yeah, I mean, most of the time
I'm imagining
no, I mean, most of the time we split our weddings into like 3 sections. You know, there's always like a start, a slow section, and then there's like an intermediate section, you know, kind of bridging between the slow and the upbeat, and then we go on to the upbeat section, which is generally following the first dance, you know. And we also vary. It depends if there's a DJ, for example, after us. So if we know that the main kind of party is happening with the DJ, then we try and kind of stick back a little bit so as not to kind of overshadow the other part. You know, it's all about working together,
working in sync, so that there's the whole atmosphere. You're keeping it always at a good level, even if there's going to be a change from one artist to another artist. And this takes me straight away into the next question with regards to the new regulations. So your typical Maltese wedding is stand up, it's party mode sort of. There's open bar, everyone's standing up, drinking, talking. We're gonna go from relaxed to intermediate to everyone dancing. Now, since the 28th of August, weddings have been constricted to being seated weddings, and you guys have had weddings, right? So already happening. How has the experience been? Have you still gone through this slow, then picking it up, then going to the upbeat? What has the experience been for the bride and the groom and the guests and yourselves?
Since the new regulations restrict the audience to stand up and dance, and they have to stay at their table, maybe the upbeat section has gone down a little bit. However, we still do it, and we still had people like dancing in their chairs and still enjoying the music. Well, we had a couple of weddings, seated weddings, this summer. To be quite honest with you, we were going into the weddings with a frame of mind like it's gonna be different. The vibe is going to be a killer, and no one's gonna have fun.
Okay.
But in fact, we realized that that seated weddings are like very intimate, and even the bride and the groom get to enjoy the wedding to the full, because they talked. For example, both the weddings we had this summer, both the bride and the groom went around the tables. They talked to all the guests. They came up and talked to us. They offered us cake. They offered us food. We talked to all the guests, almost all the guests. It's a different experience. I'm not going to say that it replaces the whole experience of having a normal wedding, but at least, I mean, it's a very nice experience, and I think, I mean, if people are afraid at the moment, I think they still should go for it if they're like thinking about it.
Yeah, great. I did want to bring this up and ask it because I know people sort of like, if we have a norm, and then of course you're changing everything, people do look out to see like what's happening. Is it still fun and everything? Me personally, I love the whole concept of seated weddings because there's like a certain decor you can set up. There's more detail. It's more intimate. There's particular space, so it's not just a bunch of people in a area, but everyone has their own area. Everyone is able, because the tables are set out in a way that you can mingle even with different tables, communicate. And I wanted to ask as well, with seated weddings, did you still have a DJ playing before or after, or did people just choose to have you guys as a band there, and it was more than enough?
So for both of them, there was a like a DJ before us, with like background music, and then we played for around a couple of hours, because we had to, as Johnny mentioned, the upbeat part is a little bit kind of different, and then DJ continued afterwards. But again, the DJ wasn't like really pushing the upbeat part. But yeah, I mean, I think both situations bring out advantages and disadvantages. I mean, personally, what I like about even maybe the I think there's a limit of around 300 people or something like that with seated. So I mean, if you go over a 5-hour wedding, and if you have, I mean, I'm not against the 600, 700 people wedding, not at all. But something that the couple told us, the bride and the groom, was that like we actually had 5 minutes almost with every couple or every group of people to talk to, rather than the 10 seconds. Hello, how are you?
Someone behind you pushing you. Okay, next, let's go.
I mean, and it was always also for us as well, because normally if we're talking to, or if people want to come and say hello or like well done or a request or something, normally they come 5-10 seconds, because they either need to go get a drink by the bar, or they lose the queue, or the bistro table is opening. Whereas this time it was like so easy and relaxed, and like, hey guys, how are you?
It was very, very structured, and like there was no stress, no people over each other. You know how you have these weddings, like people just go and stay at the bar and drink as. This was both of them were really
more
relaxed.
Structured.
More structured.
Yeah. Cool. Just to clarify as well for everyone watching the show is, with regards to restrictions at the moment, it is maximum of 300 people for outside weddings and maximum 100 people for weddings that are being held indoor. Apart from that, just so that you don't go on these numbers, the venue needs to tell you how many people they can have. Because if the venue square meters can't take 100 people by the regulations, then they can't have 100 people. So I don't want you guys to see the show and then, just say, okay, Lalo, amazing, we can have 300 people
Yeah,
anyways.
exactly.
There's
For
the
outside
restrictions.
and yeah.
Yes, exactly. A table can have maximum 8 people on each table, and then there has to be like an amount of meters. I don't know the amount between one table or another.
Exactly. And
But
Alberta,
yeah.
I'm gonna take over now because somebody asked us,
No.
Ben
Next.
Vincenti,
No.
when's
Nobody
the
else. So there's a Ben Vincenzi that's asked a very fair question.
to you?
But we unfortunately at this point in time we won't be able to give an answer because there is no date plan or anything planned out. But Ben Vincenti, should you wish to tell us your date, I'd be more than happy to announce it on the show for you and Gloria, and we can do sort of like having your own announcement here today. So go for
Exactly,
it.
with the Alchemists as the band for the wedding.
Exactly. All right, for Ben Vincenti, anyone's watching the show, Ben
Mushed Ben, no,
Vincenti and
Mushed Ben.
Gloria. I can't pronounce his name.
Għatilu insomma.
Issa, guys, we are going towards the end. I have the last 3 questions here for you guys. I know you guys spend quite a lot of money on sound equipment, investing to have the right equipment. You already mentioned it before. Maybe you want to clarify why you do it and how important it is.
Yeah, so it's a very direct answer. When we had situations when we had equipment that we weren't happy with for some reason. So over the past 2 years, I think about 2 years ago, we decided to invest in top equipment, both for small events, 50, 100 people, and also for big events like 400 or 500 people. So, and that kind of makes sure that our standard is always at a certain level, and it also makes us happy.
It's always this equipment that you're using, be it if it's a small 20-person event or a 200-person event. It's that equipment, same quality that a person is going to be booking with you guys.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, and basically you're buying the equipment and keeping it, because I have heard different bands, for example, they choose to have a separate company taking care of their equipment, but you guys chose to get it yourselves. Are there any particular reasons you decided to go for this?
Well, personally, myself, we have a sound engineer who works with us directly. Keith, I say hello from here. And he has a band as well, so we practically have the equipment being shared between both bands, and we share the equipment between us because when he's playing, we're helping them with sound when we're playing. So it's like a kind of a joint thing, and it helps both bands, and we ensure that both bands have very good high quality equipment and good sound, and so it works for both.
That's amazing. That's amazing, even budget wise, to have certain quality. Now, of course, it's expensive, so this way you're cutting the budget between two, but then both you guys have extremely good equipment and the sound engineer over there in the middle, always helping you out.
Exactly.
That's great. We do have a question from Ben here, actually, but we have actually covered this already. But why the Alchemists? What's the story behind the name? Basically, it's about the chemistry, if I understood correctly, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so their new coming manager decided they should be called.
Yes. And I mean, an alchemist is, I think, it's someone who creates something like with magic or something. So potions and stuff, and so that's how.
Cool. He also has asked another question with regards to how many song requests do you accept when you're taking requests?
it depends really, because I mean, first of all, it depends on the length of the time that we're playing. Of course, it doesn't make sense, and I don't think for any band it makes sense that you do a set list with not a single song that you've played before. It just doesn't make sense. So I mean, we're very flexible, but from our experiences, we normally suggest a set list based on our experience, what worked and what didn't work. And then obviously some couples go like, we really don't like these 4 songs because this one reminds me of that and this one reminds me of this. Fine, we chuck them out. And then they go like, so we really like these songs, would you be able to do them? And sometimes, or I'd say 80% of the times it's a yes, but there are some songs which we don't do them for particular reasons as well, because of, so I mean, we're very flexible, and I think you need to be flexible in these situations. So.
All right, okay. He's been shooting out questions for you guys, so I am going to put them there for you. But like, they are fair questions. Like, for example, with changing and updating your repertoire, I mean, is this something is there a particular time frame that you go into changing these?
Actually, we don't change the repertoire. We just add to it. So it gives us a big chunk of songs that we know. We keep them obviously on on an Excel sheet. And we show to our clients what songs we cover. So if a new song comes up,
we cover it, we add it.
Yes, we add it. We try it out. Sometimes we just say we just do it one time, and it comes out really good, and we add it to our playlist. So that's the way we do it.
All right. And before I'm going to continue answering Ben's questions from you guys, I do actually have a question with regards, because, so if I'm planning a wedding or any event, I'm in a bit of a dark. Like, I know, the event is starting at this time, but then sort of you need to guide me and tell me, is there like a standard package? I mean, you don't have to mention pricing or anything, but is there like a standard, like X amount of song, X amount of hours that you normally start off with and then build?
Yes, I mean, so we generally, as I mentioned before, we generally suggest that at kind of 3 sets. So, and each set is approximately an hour long.
Okay.
And I mean, I know some bands maybe sing for 2 hours, and maybe some bands sing for 4 hours or 5 hours. I mean, from I'd say from a health perspective, in terms of singing, I mean, we try not to exceed the 3 hours. Because I mean, after all, the vocal cords are muscles. It's like, when you're running a marathon, you're running for 3 to 4 hours. You're not going to run it every day. And it's like the same with singing. I mean, yes, you do training just like for vocal cords, etc. So that is one issue. It's not like, I mean, we don't play for 6 hours, for example. It's just,
exactly.
And what we also tell the couple, and what I always tell them is, you generally want the band to perform the best in the upbeat section, so in the last hour. So if the band has been playing for 3 to 4 hours before that, then it's more likely that the band is going to be tired. So the performance will probably, go down a bit. Not just in singing, even in, I don't know, anything that you're doing physically, So so I think 3 hours is the right balance between the amount of playing and amount of what you can give. And then we generally suggest either, some people, if they have a very long wedding, like some background music, maybe an acoustic act before, and then us. And then some people also want an after party with a DJ. So we offer like we generally offer a kind of a 5-hour package, kind of, which has like 1 hour background music, 3 hours of us, and then an after party with a DJ. Or doing it, we can shift here and there according to what they need.
Also, like your break times as well, because of course, I mean, you need to drink some water and like breathe.
Exactly. I mean, we generally play for an hour, 10-minute break, or 15. It depends on the situation, and then we play for another hour, 10-minute break, and then we play for another hour. I mean, that's our kind of standard.
Cool. All right. Okay. I did want to ask because something like this, for example, I didn't know myself. So I'm sure any couples actually watching the show, they'd have the same question. We have the next question from Ben. He asked if you have any Bowie covers, and I'm sure especially interested because he's actually getting married tomorrow at 6 p.m. This is an announcement for Ben Vincenti and Gloria getting married tomorrow at 6 p.m. But it's a fair question. Bowie covers. Do you have any?
We've never actually. This is the first time we've been asked this question. I mean, for
Amazing. But
David Bowie.
You're playing Ben's wedding tomorrow.
I know a couple of songs. Obviously, Heroes and Starman and what's it called? Yeah, it was Space Oddity, I think. But I mean, I've heard them. But I mean, Heroes I know because I've played with another band, but we've never did it as the Alchemists. But yeah, Heroes I've played in the past with someone else, so that's the only one I actually covered myself.
Cool. And I'm just going to put up the last question, which is a very good question from Ben. So thank you for all the questions and comments that you've put in. Why should people book the Alchemists, guys? Why should people book you?
I think it's the overall experience. I mean, if I talk, obviously I'm going to promote our band as much as possible, but I think what we offer is much more than music. What other clients have also mentioned was the amount of help we gave while they were organizing their wedding. Since we have our own networks and our own connections with regards to music and with regards to the overall entertainment, I mean we can offer a lot of things, even stage setups, backgrounds, and most of these things. So apart from giving a helping hand and entertaining in the music area, we also help the clients and make them feel as relaxed as possible and make sure that they're not stressed out before the day of the wedding and also before that.
And also, I mean, especially on the day of the wedding, we're not too strict with for example, if we agreed with the couple that with the music starts at 8 and it finishes at 11, and there's a half an hour delay. I mean, we start at 8:30.
Flexible. I mean,
it
understanding
make a difference for us. I mean, and because at the end of the day, yes, okay, so we're charging a fee and just like any other supplier would for a wedding. But the thing that we keep in mind the most is that most couples are spending 20, 30, 40,000, 50,000 euros. I mean, so it's not like you're just spending 2,000 euros and if it goes wrong, like, okay, so we always keep that in mind. And I think the best thing that we can do is, listen, we're here to help. We're going to give you the best entertainment possible, as best as we know that we can do it. We also kind of give them an assurance that because I've heard stories that things can happen, and if something happens, we have a lot of connections with a lot of people that we can replace immediately.
I mean, anything can happen, be it from traffic, delays, something got stuck. I mean, there's a lot of planning that comes into one day. And
I remember one experience. We had a wedding in Gozo, and we went up early in the morning, and it was quite, the weather was like similar to today, kind of, and we had a was coming up a bit later, and the ferry stopped working. So So that's So I mean, what could we do? And we just found another saxophonist in Gozo, and he came and he, played with us, because I mean, you always have to have those backup. people.
referring to Sarah's question before, get your networking, get that
Yeah.
rapport with everyone working around you, so
Very,
you're
very
always covered.
And you're not alone. That's the thing.
Great. Thank you, Ben, for all the questions you've put in. I am going to come into you guys, Ben and John, with the last two questions for today's show, because we've hit over we're hitting 60 minutes now. So your creative process focus, where is it at the moment? What are you working on at the moment?
Currently, since we don't produce our own original stuff, I mean, our creative process is mainly focused on creating something different, and not just covering a song like the way that you hear it on the radio is the way that we're gonna sound. It's different with our own interpretation, and I think that is important because if every band covers the same song the same way, I mean, you can have any band, and that is something that separates us from each other. I mean, our own original style, our own experiences, and whatnot.
Great.
Yes.
So that is where our creative process lies.
Exactly. And I mean, we originally, I think in 2019 we said that towards the end of 2020 we're going to be thinking of, sitting down and coming up with ideas, brainstorming, so that we start looking at writing our own stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, with the COVID situation and everything, it's like everything got slightly postponed because we always wanted to have a couple of years or 2 to 3 years to really play with each other and get to know each other really well before we go into the music writing, because we want to write something which is really ours and finding really our style. So I think that's something that we're really going to focus on next year. We do have the kind of benefits of having Keith, who is our sound engineer. He's also a producer as well with his own studio. So we do have a place where we can focus our energy there as well. So we're looking forward for that as well.
Amazing. And in fact, you even answered my next question, your future plans. So we know next year you're working on, maybe we could hear some new music actually written by you guys, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that you guys are planning in the future for you guys as a band?
I mean, personally, I really want to play in some more festivals, because last year we played at the Sweetie Fest, and it was a really nice experience, and it was like our first festival on a big stage together. This year we also played at a beer garden festival in Gzira. We were a bit lucky that it happened before the second wave hit or something. So that was a nice experience as well. So yeah, we hope that we can play in some big festivals.
We also had something in mind, maybe next year going up abroad and
I was actually going to ask that
over there as well. We actually had a lot, not a lot, had some people coming up to us while watching us play in Malta, who offered us to play at their wedding or at their weddings also in Denmark, and also a couple of people who organized the festivals. I don't remember where exactly, but who told us that
in Hungary,
Hungary can apply with them to perform over there.
But of course, the situation is that
it got owned and
nobody knows exactly when they're having the event. So
but I was actually going to ask about going abroad. I think you guys should definitely open that up and going. I mean, yes, increasing festivals in Malta, increasing more events in Malta, but I would tap into going into that industry where you're outside of Malta. There's different cultures, different experiences. I mean, it's a whole other vibe completely, and it grows you as a person as well, which I'm sure you guys know. So definitely, I was literally just going to ask it when when you came with it.
Yes, I mean, guys. Last year we went up to Germany because Johnny wanted to buy a new guitar, and
Okay.
we found a pub that he was hosting, like an open mic night, and we went
Okay.
up to do a couple of songs. We ended up playing for like 2 hours, and I mean the vibe was really nice and very different from what we
Yeah,
normally
it's a different
kind of
culture,
find in
right?
Malta. So that was like a really big highlight for us, and it was really something to look forward to again, maybe next year or.
Yes, next year definitely. So guys, everyone watching the show, 2021, we're going to see the Alchemists with new material that they've written, and they're going to be playing even outside of Malta. Because when you set the
Hopefully.
goal, you always achieve it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Guys, that's a wrap on all the questions we had on the agenda. I do hope we've covered everyone and everyone's questions. Thank you everyone for all the questions, comments, and feedback that we've been receiving. Guys, do you have any final words before we end today's show?
I just want to say thank you to Get Hitched for hosting us, and to you, Alberta, for also being patient with us over the past few months. So yeah, we're looking forward for things to obviously go back to some kind of normality. But in the meantime, we're also enjoying playing to a most of the time to a more intimate setting, which is we're learning a lot, and because of the intimate setting, sometimes we take a couple of extra risks as well, and we're learning a lot about ourselves as a band. So
Great. Cool. Great. No, thank you guys for being on the show. Just for everyone to know as well, The Alchemist is actually a new band that just set up on Get Hitched. So if you guys are looking for a band, you're going to find them on Get Hitched by submitting a request. They have a profile built on Get Hitched, which is linked to this live show. So you'll see it in the post where there is the link to their profile. So you can see some videos, some photos, and a description of their work. And there's a contact form there as well for you to contact them directly. You can find them on their Facebook page, The Alchemists, or their URL is The Alchemists Trio. There's Instagram, The Alchemists _band. There's mobile, email, anything.
yes,
Mobile,
hopefully one day we'll have enough money to buy all the the domains to have everything in
definitely.
one. But it's, I mean, at this point in time,
It's
it's
step by step.
a bit difficult. So yeah.
It's step by step. I know mass singers and other suppliers that have just created their Facebook pages, and they've been in operation for years. They actually work with us, and I've seen them actually recently create their Facebook pages, and otherwise just work through, incoming requests. They work through Get Hitched, through Eventy, and so on. So everyone starts from somewhere. Guys, thank you very much for today's show.
Thank you.
I am going to wave you guys bye. So it was great seeing you, and as always, if you need anything, just let me know.
Thank you.
See you.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. There you have it, guys. Episode 21 of the Get Hitched live wedding chat show with the Alchemists band, newly set up on Get Hitched. I'm sure we've given a lot of great feedback. Thank you again for everyone watching the show, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. See you. Bye.